How's it going, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping yet another video. As you can see from the title of the video, guys, this is a continuation of reading letters from Ian Brady. Now, as I've stated in the previous videos, I don't have Brady's letters anymore. I got rid of them a long time ago. I scanned about 6 of them and I kept them on my phone and stuff. I received a lot more than 6 letters from Brady. But like I say, so what I've spent all day doing is, because his handwriting is pretty much illegible, as you can see from the pictures at the start of the video, the actual pictures of the letters. I've spent all day rereading the Brady's letters on my phone and then writing down. So I've had to reread them, read the full sentence, go back, and then I've worked out what Brady said, because I became able to read his letters the more I received of them. So then I've wrote every word down, word for word, and then I'm relaying that to you guys. Like I said, I had an agenda writing to Brady, thick, uneducated street kid. I thought I'd have the inside track more so than a journalist or a criminology professor or sociology professor or psychology professor or students, because Brady would have seen him coming a mile off. I didn't think he'd suspect me, and I wanted to get the location of Keith Bennett's body so I could get it out in the public, get him repatriated with his mother, Winnie Johnson, God bless her, may she rest in peace. God bless Keith Bennett, may rest in peace. And that was my aim all the time. My attitude is, if you don't ask, you don't get. So I tried. It's better than not trying. Right, so this letter is dated the 12th of October 2015. Underneath that, he copied his solicitors into the letter. The letter reads, "Dear Cody, thanks for your letters, etc. Yes, I received the several DVDs you sent. However, the personalised Christmas card, you're going to think, why sending a Christmas card in October? In the previous letter, Brady sent me an early Christmas card, which I found very strange. I thought he was dying. So I then made a personalised one with a picture of him, sent it in, which was withheld. And then also I sent him a Scottish bracelet, which was paracord. It was blue in construction, and then it had the white for the Scottish flag. But anyway, it goes on. So it says here, it was withheld by Merseycare, POA. Second, the corded Scottish bracelet you sent was also not allowed. I've instructed the thief executive, not chief, the thief executive office to return both prohibited items to you. So let me know when you receive them. You shouldn't bother sending any other items, as all the attention-seeking officials without real jobs here will simply prohibit items to justify their own parasitic existences. Second, it is common knowledge that the more covertly corrupt and criminal the person or system, the more publicly and moral and righteous they appear to the ignorant. Yes, I'm still bedridden, and now I have a chest infection. As I've said, my solicitors and London legal executors will handle my funeral arrangements, and I've been kept informed. Now, in the last letter, I offered a fake offer to Brady to do security at his funeral with members of the underworld, the criminal underworld. It wasn't a genuine offer. We would have all have turned his body over or dragged it through the streets or whatever. It wasn't a genuine offer, but I wanted to find out Brady's plans for his funeral and stuff, and to see if I'd earned his trust enough for him to give me access to like his body and his estate and stuff, and try and get the soul there. And then I would have just made everything public, and then or sold it, so that then we could have restarted the search for Keith Bennett's body and stuff, because obviously advancements in technology and stuff, they can do geophys on the ground, and hopefully we could have found Keith. He could have been repatriated with his body. But let's carry on. Yes, I'm kept informed of changes to Manchester, many of them not for the better. As with old Glasgow, I prefer the old Manchester. Glad you took my advice and avoided approaches by the gutter media. Now, if you didn't watch the other video, someone contacted me from the Jeremy Kyle programme, not to be one of the scallies on the stage, but to do an interjection with a young lad that's going down the same route that I've gone down, and trying to talk him out of it and stuff. I declined the offer. I told Brady it was because of his advice. It wasn't. I just didn't want to do it. So it says here, glad you took my advice and avoided approaches by the gutter media. Now worse than ever. In my day, people actually went out of their way rather than speak to the media. Quite the opposite these days. As you say, the Andy Warhol prediction that one day everybody would be famous for 15 minutes has been surpassed, more like 15 seconds. People who become in, I asked him about prisoners. I said, do you believe prisoners can become institutionalized? As a former prisoner myself and stuff. He said, people who become institutionalized do so because consciously and subconsciously they prefer to be. The old lag syndrome, more at home in prison than in the outside world. Always talking of freedom, but regretting it in reality. No, I have all the music I need, thanks, on tape, cassette. No, as I said, I stopped all social visits and phone calls in 1998 when the trust turned Ashworth into a regressive, isolated prison. You can't fucking knock me for trying, guys. You can see how many times I've been rejected just in them 6 letters, and I had stupid amounts of letters from Brady. He always rejected the offer, right, to try. I wanted to get in, I wanted to see him, I wanted to record it on a covert camera tie, and then I wanted to show a fucking old, frail, fucking close to death Brady so people could see this fucking scumbag, right? But it never came to fruition. Tattoo. I asked him if he had a tattoo. He said, tattoo, no. I don't, and I don't want one. Who does? Birthdays, question mark. I've never bothered with them. No, I've stopped 3. No, I've stopped 3 films to be made. 3 Hollywood films to be made over the decades. He stopped them. He kept putting in... Brady would have had to sign off on it anyway, and he declined to do it. So by refusing to sign the release contracts, but unfortunately in the UK, television programmes can be made and films without release contracts being signed. I also took legal action to stop 3 Hollywood films. Now, he just mentioned it just 2 seconds ago that he'd stopped these 3 Hollywood films, and he's mentioned it in again, literally 2 or 3 sentences down. So I don't know if he's losing his marbles at this point. An associate from London has just recently been up in Glasgow, following in my footsteps, but has said the old Glasgow I knew is long gone. However, he sent me an excellent batch of photos of places I know well. A few parts of the old Glasgow had escaped demolition. And then I just again start another question. No, I still rely on Al Jazeera for all the real news. Ironic that the political party conferences in Manchester all take place at the converted Central Station, now behind the Midland Hotel. Now, he's called it the Midland. Now, it doesn't have to say hotel. I know about the Midland. The Midland Hotel is in Manchester. It's been there forever and a day. At the back of it, there's like a half a moon shaped long building. It used to be a station. It's like, we used to call it the GMX. It's now the convention center or something. But you'll understand why this is relevant a bit further down. I called at Central Station on my final night in Manchester. Now, if you do your research on the murder of Edward Evans, Myra Hindley drove Brady from 16 Waldobrook Avenue up on Attersley Estate to this where the party conference was being held, but obviously like 50 odd years before, when it was a train station, and Edward Evans had struck up some sort of friendship with Brady, turned up at the station. Brady went in to get Edward Evans, brought Evans out, drove back to 16 Waldobrook Avenue, and then a relative of Myra Hindley, I think it's called David Smith, Brady said, I'll be back in a minute. And he's left this guy in the kitchen, gone upstairs, and he has a loud scream because Brady and Hindley have attacked Edward Evans with the blunt end of an axe. And then they shouted David Smith up. David Smith went up the stairs, walked in to this murder scene, decided he was going to be part of it, and then the body was too heavy for him to carry. Brady sprained his ankle, and they decided that they was going to get rid of the body the following day. That night, David Smith ended up contacting the police, and in the early hours of the morning, the police all blocked the road. Brady spoke about that. He was caught asleep downstairs, whilst upstairs there was a .45 pistol, a .38 revolver, and another rifle, and elsewhere they had a 9mm and unlimited ammunition and stuff. So this is Brady's making reference to his final night in Manchester. He means his final night as a free man, because when he took it from the converted Central Station, which, like I said, it was a train station, he took Edward Evans back and they've killed him and stuff. So that's what he means by that. So he says there, I called at Central Station on my final night in Manchester. That's because obviously that's when he killed Edward Evans, and that's when it all unravelled. I asked him for his charge sheet. I wanted his charge sheet because I wanted to read it with my own eyes. I put charge sheet, he put question mark. Can't even recall ever seeing one. The Faces of the Underworld DVD you sent. He's acknowledging I sent him an Underworld DVD of like it's like a fly on the wall documentary of different gangsters. They went to different towns and stuff, right? He said, Kate Cray did a better one called Hard Bastards some years ago, in which an associate of mine, Albert Redding, takes part. Yes, I asked him if he'd had his cataracts done. He said, yes, after 14 years of waiting here, I had my cataracts done at Fazakerley Hospital several years ago. And then I asked him, where else have you been? Because I know you've been in Glasgow, I know you've been in Manchester. Where else have you been? I know you've been in Borstal, talked about getting drunk and stuff like that. He ran the booze and stuff like that and gambling. And we know he'd been to prison and stuff for petty theft and stuff. And the sheriff ordered him out of Glasgow down to London and all this sort of, from Glasgow down to Manchester even. So yeah, he said, yes, I visited Blackpool when I was 14 and came down to Manchester for a 2-week holiday. Blackpool's Golden Mile was full of all sorts back then, including tent shows. I don't know what that is. Tent shows? I don't know. Was it dirty? Was it... I don't know. Was it a circus? I'm not sure. But it just says here, including tent shows. I went up the tower and visited the ballroom. Also enjoyed the roller coasters, etc. I'm still waiting. Listen to this. Listen to this, right? You know how I told you, like in the previous thing, he was suing... he wanted me to go after the book publishers, these two fucking like nonces and stuff, right, and everything. He wanted me to take any action. They're in the States, I'm in Manchester, right? He put here, I'm still waiting for some effective action, reference to publishers, talking about the publishers of his book, Adam Palfrey, and that paedophile child porn writer, Peter Soaps. It's a bit rich coming from a fucking... Brady raped Leslie Ann Downing and fucking filmed... audio recorded it and stuff, right? So a rapist, paedophile, and a child murderer, and yet he's calling this person a paedophile, child porn writer, Peter Soaps, and the defrauding charities of which all my proceeds and royalties from further editions of The Gates of Janus. He didn't sign off on the second edition. They wrote it and they pretty much slagged him off and stuff. So should have gone. As usual, prisoners are targeted for easy theft and fraud. I'll enclose the classic Easy Rider DVD recently sent me again. The scenes in a cemetery in New Orleans reminded me of my second visit to America and time in New Orleans. It's a bit sinister, that. Best wishes, signed Ian Stuart Brady. P.S. as usual, excuse the bedridden handwriting. That's it, guys. I'm absolutely knackered, guys. Right, I'm not even gonna talk anymore. All the different content and stuff like that, and God knows I've give you a lot. Literally, guys, I've literally all this. I've been writing down all day, having to transcribe bloody Brady's letters into like legible things so I can pass it down to you. So let me know what you think of the content. What do you make of the man? Is there any articles? Are there any sentences that stand out to you? Is there any comments that stand out to you? Have you picked up on something? What do you make of it? What do you make of the letters? You'll have to let me know, guys, in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Speak to you all soon. Cody out.